Farmers have always been a notorious bunch for being hoarders. I've never met one who wasn't, and I include members of my own family in this sweeping generalisation too. Change is seldom welcome with open arms. It usually takes something drastic to occur before the wheels get set in motion, and such was the situation at the farm of a lad I had been at school with. The change in circumstances at the family homestead being the death of their paternal grandfather in a freak road accident not far from our yard in a mini pickup. That had been 18 months or so previously. My ex schoolmate dropped in to see me, advising of a rusted out white Bedford HA van he had had and wanted scrapping, which was up at the farm. Could I call in and collect it? I had not been up there before, but it was a wonderful setting, a good half mile off of the road, set up on a ridge at the end of a private track. The main farmhouse was a rather sprawling affair, with bits having been added on as the years rolled past. This was home to the grandmother, her sister, and sister-in-law. A bungalow to the left of the main house, an old milking parlour that had been converted to a residence, and then behind the bungalow was a mobile home. In total, 11 people from the same family were all living at the farm. Dozens of sheds and outbuildings in various states of disrepair were amongst the orchard of fruit trees, the property having a great view over open countryside to the motorway in the distance. One of my friend's brothers came out with a telehandler and lifted the little Bedford van onto my lorry. But all this did was reveal another car, far more dilapidated, in the hedge behind where it was parked. Once I'd tied the van down on my lorry and stuffed it full of all the various junk laid around where the van had been parked, I went for a wander. Cars from the 80s back to the late 50s were in attendance. Tractors, lorries, farm machinery, motorbikes, all so far gone from decades out in all the weathers on that ridge. One field had a huge ditch between it and the neighbours. The drop was at least 10 feet, but you couldn't really tell as it was so crammed full with all sorts of old rubbish, old kitchen appliances, metal drums, a mini estate car, and various other agricultural implements, trailer chassis, you name it, even an old woofler. Right at the end was a late 1950s Ford Squire. In another field gateway stood the rotten remains of a Ford Consul 375 Highline. Someone had fitted this with a Perkins diesel engine. The car having been left behind by a workman who came to do some jobs in the 1970s and had not been touched since, according to one of my mate's aunties. It was like a bizarre dream. Just when you thought that was an end to the stuff, out from under a bush or collapsed shed poked the traces of something else. I just kept on plugging away at it for weeks. Hearing from my friend's father that I was trustworthy, their neighbour in the farm adjacent decided he needed a clear up too, so I started working there as well. One load was just an enormous heap of corrugated iron, all jagged and rotten, but it's all par for the course and it all has to go. We sort of made a cherry on top of the cake by shoving a dog shit brown coloured Austin Allegro on there. Some of the motorbikes still yielded usable spares, so I squirreled those away. There was also the cab engine and gearbox from a late 60s Ford D series in one shed, the rest of the lorry now been turned into a bale trailer. Before I scrapped the rotten cab and the rest of it, I sold the engine and box for export to a guy. This deal making me a great contact in the vehicle export trade, whom I used then right up until I ceased trading 20 years plus later. I took many photos of the farm, all of which are in evidence here in this video. Even after I completed all that my schoolmate's family had asked, I still got the odd phone call from his father to go and shift something or other they had fished out. I really enjoyed my time doing that job, and it's a summer I look back on fondly. Hello there. Thank you for watching my video. Really is appreciated. If you'd like to share with any friends who also might like it, then please do. And also subscribe to the channel. It really is very welcome. Take care. Bye bye.